We were as shocked as you were when Moses Ingram from the new Star Wars Independent series showed the number of racist hate comments she'd received. This came after her debut as Reva in the Disney Plus series Obi-Wan Kenobi. For something like that to happen in this day and age is extremely uncool. The Star Wars franchise didn't disappoint though. In fact, Ewan McGregor actively stood up for Ingram. Firstly, Obi-Wan Kenobi star shares a video. After Ingram revealed her experience, McGregor, who's the main star of the show, was quick to defend her and speak on her behalf. Ingram highlighted some of the hundreds of hateful texts she's gotten since her Star Wars debut, claiming that it was impossible for anyone to do anything about the hate that she was getting. In response, McGregor released a long video in which he made a very strong statement. If you're sending her bullying messages, you're no Star Wars fan. The video became extremely popular with almost 40,000 retweets and almost instantly got more than 3.5 million views when it was first put out. It's clear to us that McGregor really wanted to stand up for his co-star. Next, showing gratitude to his fans. McGregor started the video by thanking his fans for always hyping up his character. If you're a devoted fan of the series like we are, then you'll know that this series is thriving on Disney. So we definitely agree with Ewan when he says that he's glad that they all managed to pull this off in such a cool way. The Star Wars series begins a decade after what went down in Revenge of the Sith, with Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi now living in exile on the desert planet Tatooine. The series is supposed to provide continuity between the events of the prequels and the original films, which first introduced us to Luke Skywalker. And now, McGregor praises Moses Ingram. Ewan took to praising his co-star at length, making sure that fans could see that she's an incredibly talented actor who deserves to be treated that way. He said that Moses is a brilliant actor, she's a brilliant woman, and she's absolutely amazing in this series. She brings so much to the series, she brings so much to the franchise, and it just sickened me to my stomach to hear that this had been happening. We don't know about you, but that definitely made us shed a tear or two. Imagine getting that kind of praise from a coworker. But seriously, we were extremely happy to see that McGregor wasn't going to allow racism in the Star Wars fandom. Let's discuss Ingram's role in the show. In the show, Ingram plays the role of Reva in the new Disney Plus series, which received the most views for an independent series at the time of its premiere. Ingram basically plays a new character around our favorite Obi-Wan and the terrible Darth Vader. Ingram's character is basically meant to act as an inquisitor who moderates a match between Obi-Wan and Vader. Sounds like a pretty cool role to us. Funnily enough, inquisitors are the main bad guys in the new series. However, this was the first time that they were part of all the action. Ingram's character wasn't part of the old Rebel series, which first introduced the role of inquisitors, but she plays the role so well that it doesn't even matter. In the Instagram video, she said that the thing that bothers me is this feeling inside of myself that no one has told me, but this feeling that I have to shut up and take it, that I have to grin and bear it. That sounded heartbreaking. Thankfully, there were lots of people who came out in support for her, even apart from her co-workers. Now for what the franchise had to say. McGregor wasn't the only one though. Even the Star Wars franchise tweeted in favor of Ingram on the official Twitter handle. They mentioned that they were proud to have Moses Ingram in the role of Reva on the show, also adding jokingly that given the number of species in the Star Wars planet, choosing to be racist was a little uncool. Okay, we do appreciate some lighthearted humor. However, we can't help but feel awful for Ingram. She isn't the only one to have experienced this kind of racial discrimination either. When Marie Tran played a major role in the Star Wars series as the first person of color to do so, she received a lot of backlash as well. Seems kinda unfair to believe in intergalactic space travel, but not in equal rights, for sure. So, is there a racism problem in the Star Wars franchise? Apart from Marie Tran, even John Boyega took to complaining in a GQ interview about how black characters are shown on screen in the Star Wars universe. In 2020, he mentioned that it'd be better if Disney actually gave black characters important roles, instead of just using them for the basic representation requirement and then putting them on the sidelines. Seriously, that's uncool. The saddest part was that after McGregor's video, some fans started giving the series negative reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, basically called review bombing. That only goes to show how some fans don't really see racism as a problem and just act out their implicit bias against a woman who's definitely an amazing actor. The hardest part is for fans of color who have to experience this kind of sidelining treatment just because of the poor lack of representation on screen. These fans shared that they were really sad when they saw how Ingram was being treated. It made it clear that the Star Wars fandom was mostly not open to diversity and representation. Now for Ingram's response to supportive comments. On May 31st, Ingram reacted to the remarks in an Instagram story, stating that Lucasfilm had had approached her before the series aired and informed her to expect racial hate. She thanked those who were supporting her and addressed those who were criticizing her. Following that, there was an outpouring of support for Ingram on social media, and for many fans from underrepresented areas, Lucasfilm's social media position seemed extremely meaningful. The fact that Lucasfilm and other members of the Star Wars family have stepped up to defend Moses Ingram is a huge step forward in terms of responsibility. Addressing such a difficult issue on their platform makes a significant impact, as opposed to doing nothing and letting Ingram suffer alone in isolation. What people don't seem to get, voluntarily or not, is how vulnerable people from minority backgrounds may be or feel, especially in today's culture coverage, when every detail can be molded into a huge scoop or a week-long talking point. Lastly, is speaking up enough? Many fans express the belief that while overtly rejecting racism is a welcome and significant step forward, there is still a long way to go in terms of protecting fans of color, much alone providing a friendly and secure environment for non-white fans. And we definitely agree. It isn't just about fans being racist, but also about how the series has portrayed people of color and how much more representation is needed. Longtime fans of Star Wars mostly saw an all-white cast, and even when there were people of color, they only played minor roles. Maybe if Lucasfilm casts more people of color in major roles, that might bring a positive change in the fandom going forward and prevent incidents like these. Here's some other TV news you might have missed out on during your busy week, starting with representation in Ms. Marvel. Here's a show we were really looking forward to, not just because it's a superhero show, but because it's one that features a young Pakistani-American Muslim woman. For brown people in America, this was a huge win. Kamala Khan plays the role really well, with some fun aspects of South Asian culture added to her character narrative. Muslim fans all over the world took to Twitter to share their joy at seeing someone like them represented on screen. Next, Netflix Geeked Week. Netflix is gearing up to release a whole host of fantasy sci-fi series in its Geeked Week. We hear that Dragon Age is getting an animation adaptation, and so is Tekken apparently. We don't know about you, but video game adaptations are always so exciting to see on screen. Something about seeing your favorite players just come alive hits different. While Shadow and Bone fans eagerly wait for the return of the second season, in the meantime, they can always play Netflix's new game based on the series. And finally, the death of Boba Fett. Sure, the spin-off series The Mandalorian is popular, but one thing fans definitely didn't like was the weird resurrection and deterioration of one of the series' favorite characters. See, Boba Fett definitely died. We're 100% sure of that. Come on, he fell into the mouth of a sand monster. He should have long been digested in the vicious stomach acid. It's impossible to imagine him somehow getting out, especially with the explanation given in the series. Star Wars fans may have wild imaginations, but come on, even we deserve some chronological consistency. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Star Wars' response to the hate that Ingram received? Do you think they could have done more? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you at the next one.